Businessman turned presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy's campaign is full steam ahead. He just finished his 10-county bus tour in the first in the nation primary state of New Hampshire. The 37-year-old has joined former President Trump in taking several shots at Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. And joining us now from Studio 57 in New York is Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. Thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you. We appreciate your time. I want to start kind of where you fit in this field. I mean, you are a supporter of former President Trump, but obviously you wouldn't be running if you thought he should be the nominee, right? So what exactly do you bring to the table that he doesn't?
Well, I've been very clear. I'm taking the America First agenda to the next level, further than Donald Trump did. I'll tell you what I told those people in New Hampshire, is that America First does not belong to one man. It does not belong to Donald Trump. It does not belong to me. It belongs to the people of this country, and it wasn't born in 2016. It was born in 1776. And so the point of my campaign is that, yes, to put America first, we need to rediscover what America is. And I'm running for president to set back into motion those basic ideals that our nation was founded on, from meritocracy to self-governance to free speech to the rule of law. That's what makes us American. And I think in that sense, I can take Trump's agenda further than Donald Trump did in many ways, but also unite the country doing it. And I care deeply about national unity. And relative to Donald Trump or anybody else in this field, I think I'm the best positioned candidate to actually unite this country and to do it as a member of my generation. I'm the first millennial candidate ever to run for U.S. president as a Republican, and I care about creating that national identity for the next generation of Americans. That's why I'm in this.
Are you suggesting that Donald Trump isn't able to do that then?
Well, look, I think that he had 4 years in office. If he was going to unite the country, or if Joe Biden, for that matter, was going to unite the country, that was his campaign promise, we wouldn't be as divided as we are today. And I think the way we get to national unity is not by showing up in the middle and saying that let's all compromise. I think the way we get to national unity is actually by embracing the radicalism of the American ideals themselves. From free speech to self-governance, those are radical ideas. But that's what makes America itself. And I think that's what I'm going to revive and going further, ending race-based affirmative action and abandoning this climate cult that shackles the U.S. while leaving China untouched, shutting down government agencies that should not exist. Trump didn't do these things. I'm taking that agenda further, but I'm also confident that I can do it in a way that unites Americans rather than leaving us divided.
So speaking of everything that you mentioned all of that in your book, Woke Inc., where you talk about a lot of these themes. When you look at someone like Ron DeSantis in Florida, I mean, you have been obviously very critical of him. You've called him a career politician, and you said he's deeply insecure. But isn't he implementing a lot of these principles that you have been advocating for?
To a limited extent. But I think that the problem is what we really need in the White House is a leader, not a follower. And when you're off by half, you get things wrong. I mean, just look at the way that Disney has managed to outsmart Ron DeSantis. Because when you're going through the motions and you're doing it for the reason of getting a nice little bump on Twitter or a nice cycle of media, you're not actually solving the problem that you set out to solve. I think wokeness is a symptom. Look, I think we're in the middle of a national identity crisis where people are hungry for a cause, hungry for purpose and meaning and identity, when patriotism and hard work and family and, most importantly, faith in our country has disappeared. We need to go upstream and fill that vacuum of purpose with the vision of American national identity, not short-term political stunts that leave you outsmarted at the end by some of the very companies that you claim to be railing against, from Disney to BlackRock. They actually get the better of Ron DeSantis at the end of the day. But it's sort of this deal with the devil where if all you're in it for is a short-term bump in media, then everybody gets what they want except the American people who are left holding the bag. And look, I do think he's been a good governor in a lot of ways. But I think that we need a lot of foot soldiers in this. But in the U.S. presidency, we need an outsider, someone who has courage of his own convictions. That's what I'm bringing to the table.
But in terms of the policy, going after Disney the way he did, you agree with that approach?
I actually I disagree with that approach. I think the right approach is to go to the root cause of the problem, which in this case is the ESG cancer that causes the shareholders of Disney to create a culture where CEOs of Disney and so many other companies bend the knee to this orthodoxy. I don't think using the bully pulpit and embarrassing them in front of the media is an effective approach. I don't think it's good from anyone's angle. It's not even good from the angle of Disney then coming back to get the better of him in the end.
What about from a conservative perspective? Because some Republicans have taken issue with the way in which he has gone after a corporation.
So, look, again, I disagree with the use of the bully pulpit and press cycles to just browbeat a company. I think you got to go to the root cause and actually solve the problem. The root cause here is that everyday Americans' investment dollars in the market are being weaponized by large financial institutions to force American companies to adopt these toxic race and gender ideologies and climate agendas. So I think the more effective thing to do, as I've been doing in the private sector, as I've been doing as well in laying out my platform, is to go after that problem, the use of private sector actors, the financial institutions through the back door to do what government couldn't do through the front door. That's what it means to solve that problem, not to use a bully pulpit, perform political stunts that are, in the end, ineffective because Disney got the better of them anyway in actually even changing the way that its governance was applied.
So let's talk about your path. You are a declared candidate. What states, what early states do you think you can actually win? And are you prepared to entirely self-finance your own campaign?
So this is going to be a grassroots movement lifting this up. I have put an 8-figure sum already into the campaign, and we will stop at nothing. But we've also had 20,000 unique donors in less than 2 months. That tells you a little something where I wasn't the guy who rang a tin can going around asking donors for permission to run. I think that's part of the problem in politics, in the Republican Party included. I think it's one of the main problems with professional politicians in the Republican Party. That being said, based on what I saw in New Hampshire, I think we have a very good shot at winning New Hampshire, certainly placing very well in the top 1 or 2 in New Hampshire and in the other early states. And I think that combined with the debate stage is really going to give this campaign momentum. I think that, we're climbing Mount Everest. The debate stage is base camp. I expect things are going to change dramatically after that first debate in August. We started at 0.0%. We're already at 3% nationally, even with very low name ID for me. So I think we're well on our way. We're right about where Donald Trump was when he came down that escalator in June of 2015, except this time around, I'm the outsider, and I expect us to go the distance, especially through Iowa and New Hampshire.
In order to get on that debate stage, the RNC has wanted a commitment from Republicans that they would support the eventual nominee. If Donald Trump is the nominee, will you support him?
Look, if that's the commitment to get on the debate stage, I expect all of the candidates to make that commitment. I think the debate stage is critical, so I'll do what's required in our party to be able to get on that debate stage.
You would support Donald Trump if he's the nominee?
I expect to be the nominee, so that's the party. That's the person who I'm supporting. In a world where every candidate has made their commitments clear as a precondition to entering that debate stage, I'll evaluate making that commitment.
All right, Vivek Ramaswamy, thank you so much for your time. We will continue to follow your campaign, especially, as you say, hoping for a top finish in that state of New Hampshire. Thank you.
Thank you.